go. Let's go. Welcome back to yet another episode of Two Plant-Based Brothers. I am William the teacher. This is my brother.
Daniel Nowanick Beard on the trail.
All right. How you doing today, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good. Forgot the word rhetorical just before we hopped on. Other than my lapse of vocabulary in my brain, I'm doing pretty darn good. How are you doing?
Oh, come on. I'm doing well. Every day's a holiday for me. You know, it's like a paid vacation. So first of all, before we get into the main point, we're going to do a little check-in with everybody, see how everyone's doing. We are now a week into Lent and seeing how your
Yep.
challenges are going. I think mine has been going really well, if I don't
Good.
mind saying so. So, in case you don't recall, I was going 100% plant-based. So check,
Hmm.
done that. And
Nice.
been able to avoid thus far a week in, right? Been able to avoid any like processed burgers, like plant-based burgers or sausages or these
Hmm.
kinds of packaged goods, processed cheese, cashew cream, ice cream, and no sweets of any kind, no sugar of any kind, really. So
Good.
really, I think it's going well. And I've been able to go walk out for my lunch, walk outside, avoid going to 7-Eleven to buy some bad chips or something like that to put
Hmm.
into my lunch. I miss the crunchy a little bit, but been
Hmm.
working on a few different recipes, adding new things to my diet, getting really just widening the scope of vegetables and different grains. You know what I tried this
Hmm.
week, Daniel?
What did you try?
Couscous.
Nice. That was your first time trying couscous?
Maybe I have, but I've been a quinoa guy for a long time, and I may
Uh,
have said couscous before, meaning to say quinoa.
yeah.
You might go back to episode 1 or 2. I might have said couscous as part of my meal plan, but it really hasn't been, and really easy to work. I mean, really quick.
Super easy. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so to check this out, man. I took this couscous, right,
Hmm.
and I had my vegetables all cooking in the pot, and at least 20 different vegetables.
Whoa.
Yeah, including do you ever use whole beets with the leaves on them and everything?
So is it the whole bean? Is that what you said?
Beet,
Beet.
B-E-E-T.
Okay, nah, I don't think I've ever used the leaves. No, I usually have discarded that.
I use them all the time. That's why I'd rather buy the beets with the stems on them. And I cut
Hmm.
off those stems and then I
Cool.
add them to the saute pan at the end.
Hmm.
Um, and it does bring a different color to everything.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
anyway, I fished out all the vegetables, but there's still that broth still kind of in there, different
yeah,
vegetable residue, if you will. And so it was still hot. And I just poured that on top of my couscous, right?
yeah,
And mixed it up and let it sit for a few minutes, and it was good to go, just like that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's super easy grain. I guess it's in the grain family
Yeah,
to use. You
yeah.
don't you really just bring whatever to a hot boiling temperature, and then turn the heat off. And add your couscous, let it sit for a minute, and it's done. And it'll be a nice segue in a minute because we'll actually be talking about camp cooking, and that's what I actually had when we most recently went camping. So
Yeah,
really great for backpacking.
it's gonna be a great segue right there. So, but how's the no tortillas going for you right now?
Yeah, I'm not saying going, I'm not saying that it's easy per se, but I'm doing well. I have not eaten any processed bread, any tortillas, tortilla chips of any kind. I stay away mostly from processed things for the most part, maybe one thing here or there, because we had it in the pantry, but nothing from in the bread family that's processed. I have also haven't had caffeine in
Oh
a
yeah,
week, which has been going quite well. I haven't noticed any as William drinks his coffee. And I haven't noticed, any lag of energy
hmm
whatsoever. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Last time I've done like caffeine free, like take a pause on it because I have done that in the past. Even when I've historically done like limit myself to 1 cup a day, and
hmm
I've gone off caffeine for a couple days, I usually get headaches. And so yesterday I was actually sick and had a headache, but outside of, being sick yesterday, kind of flu-like symptoms, I haven't had any kind of negative withdrawal symptoms from no caffeine. So I'm doing pretty great in that part. I'll just say that there's tendencies. I notice myself like, oh, I'm going to go to the fridge. I can make an avocado toast. That's super easy, quick. I got the
hmm
avocados, I have the bread, and I'm like, oh, nope, no bread. Don't do it. So like the convenience, I think, of bread is more what I'm missing. So I just have to be more, I get to be more, I think, intentional about what I prepare and already have pre-prepared so that grab and go kind of stuff out of the fridge is easier than bread.
Yeah, and I know this will probably segue too, is that we were talking about our last trip and our hiking and how I forgot my peanut butter sandwiches at home.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the bread's gone for until Easter, right? For me,
Hmm.
because it's got a lot of stuff in it that I can't pronounce, right?
Yeah.
And what I started doing my weekend breakfast, I said I don't eat breakfast Monday through Thursday, right? But
Right.
weekend breakfast, oats, so easy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is awesome. My I make those the oats overnight oats, right? And
Hmm.
it's so cheap too. I mean, geez
Yes.
Louise, with some fresh fruit and it's really good. So anyway, let's get started into this week's episode. Daniel, what are we
Yeah.
talking about this week?
So we are talking about food, eating plant-based, because we're all about it. It's in our name, on the trail, and kind of how I kind of tackled it, how William tackled it, our most recent trip. We talked a little bit about it, but I think we'll go in a little more depth on the how and the what and the recipes that I'm happy to share and excited to kind of share with everybody what I learned over that weekend.
Yeah, once again, guys, this is a learning process, and this is what we're all about: is journeys and something that new that we're trying, and trying to meet these goals and expectations that we have for ourselves. And we're learning as we go through it. So, and Daniel's going to talk about different, things to bring if you're going to be on an overnight backpacking trip or a 3 day, or who knows, maybe a 6 month.
Yeah.
We'll see what your future holds. But definitely we are not experts yet, but we're getting there. And so, Daniel, let's just talk a little bit about some of the things that you did a few weeks back when we were camping.
Yeah.
Something that you brought, different recipes that you tried out, and I think one may have not been as successful as you wanted it to be. Uh,
Yeah.
Feel free to throw that into.
So I did rely heavily on ChatGPT before I headed out. Just like, hey, I said these are the list of ingredients in my or list of core staple ingredients I have in my cupboard. I was like, and I'm plant-based, which ChatGPT knows that by now. And
Yeah.
I was like, give me some recipes I can easily put in my pack for an overnight hike and such forth. So it gave me some recipes. I had intended on heating up my dinner and my breakfast. And so I mentioned this last time. So I had a stove, and I'll show everybody my stove. This is actually my stove right here, made for backpacking. You can actually expand it, so it goes here. So your pot, and I have my pot right here, will sit atop the stove, and it'll burn fuel. So the fuel you just put in right at the bottom. Turn it on, easy to go. So I intended to heat up my dinner, which was couscous and red lentils. And what happened, William? Do you remember?
Well, that's my question. I almost raised my hand. Do you have your fuel?
Well, the fuel I tossed because it was empty. So, but you can imagine the fuel canister below it. It was like a,
Yeah.
little pyramid looking thing.
Maybe tip, right? Check your fuel if you
Yeah.
plan on cooking.
Well, I knew I was low on it. I just forgot to pick some up when we were at REI
Yeah.
hours before. So, anyways, I was intending to do hot. So the lentils, what I did is I pre-packed my lentils and couscous in a Ziploc bag. Actually, the lentils were separate, and then the couscous and spices and everything in two Ziploc baggies. And so, bringing the lentils to boil so they cook. Lentils are also pretty quick cooking
Mm.
food as opposed to like beans. I think of black beans as being like the hardest thing to boil and get soft, right? and not have to soak and all that stuff. So lentils were really easy. And I ended up doing it over campfire. So I mentioned that last episode. Did it over campfire and that worked. And then I added my couscous and spices, mixed it in. And so what I did like some onion salt, some garlic. I did a little bit of curry powder, among maybe a couple other spice blends. And then I added sun-dried tomatoes and a little bit of olive oil. And so that was delicious. And actually, I almost made too much of it. I was getting kind of full towards the end. Had I known you hadn't eaten couscous, I would have offered you some to try. And so it was super easy and it was awesome. And then it went into planning mode for the next morning. I was like, crap, I was going to do oats, but I know, and you know too now, maybe you knew before, but overnight oats is the same thing as, cooking the oats really. It's just going to be cold, right?
Mhm.
And I had done a little bit of research, watched a few different videos on these really ultralight backpackers. I don't know if you've seen them, William, but they try to do as few or as little weight as
Mhm.
they can. And so a lot of them to do that, they ditch the stove altogether. They don't have a
Mhm.
pot. They don't do a little, even as small as this thing as I showed you all, and the canister, right, is, and I guess the pot, but it's very lightweight. Even as lightweight that is, they still ditch it because they want to save on the ounces, pounds, whatever. So they do what's called cold soaking. Have you heard of this before?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of been trying that out already
Cool.
for Raw Wednesdays because I'm not cooking anything on Wednesday.
Hmm.
And so cold soaking lentils is it actually quite worked. The pink lentils or red lentils,
Yeah,
the ones
red.
that
They're
already
like they
split.
look orange, but they're
Yeah,
called red.
and those really don't, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe nutritionists will tell me I'm crazy to eat them without cooking them, but I didn't need to. I just let them soak
Yeah, how long did
for
you let them
hours.
soak for? Yeah.
Like make it in the rinse them off, rinse them,
Mhm.
let them soak. Then I rinse them off again. Then I let them soak. So I guess it would be if I made 10 hours, something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome because I want to try that. I hadn't thought about doing that with lentils for the raw part of it. Remember we were talking last week
Mhm.
just about you're getting your protein of sorts and calories. I think it was calories more calories during
Yeah.
your raw Wednesdays. So yeah, cold soaking. I've done a little research on it too, and a lot of people just bring what they call like a peanut butter jar. I have a sunflower seed jar because my son can't bring peanut butter to school, and he does peanut butter sandwiches, and it's a nut-free facility. So sunflower seed butter, we had it in the fridge. There's only a little bit left, so I just rinsed it all out, and I brought it on our backpacking trip because I knew I was going to take this for lunch. And I figured, okay, that night, don't have fuel. Let me just throw my oats in it and then put it in overnight, put the water in, and in the morning they'll be ready to go. And that's exactly what I did. So in the morning, my oats were already done. I added my spices and I like to do a mixture of things for my oatmeal. I'd love to hear what you've been doing for your overnight oats, but I do cacao powder, flaxseed, hemp seed, and a little bit of cinnamon. And then for this one, for this particular one, I wanted to make sure I had even more protein because I knew we were just going to be hiking and have some more calories too. Is I put a scoop of protein powder, so vegan protein powder, and then the last thing I will add to it is a little bit of agave for sweetness, and that's my oats recipe. And I find that with the different seeds, it helps with protein and helps with some healthier fats as opposed to putting in. Oh, and I forgot the last one was a scoop of peanut butter, a little scoop of peanut butter. So yeah, what do you put in your overnight oats?
Well, I'm very glad you asked. So what I've been doing, and it's where I said I wasn't going to do 100% non-processed. Some things I'm going to use. So yeah, I think the vegan protein powder is, I don't, I haven't read the ingredients, Daniel. So I'm not sure how clean that is. And then my almond milk, it has a few things in it that I probably shouldn't do, right? But take the almond milk, protein powder, shake it up, get
Mm-hmm.
all incorporated. Pour that in with the oats, chia seeds,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
cocoa
I do chia
nibs,
seeds too. Dang it,
yeah,
forgot about that.
cocoa nibs, and then strawberries, blackberries,
Mm-hmm.
blueberries, banana. Um, but I think what I did was just let those oats sit in with the almond milk and the protein powder and the chia seeds overnight, and then added the fruits
Okay, that's
the
what I was gonna
next
ask. I was like, you don't soak the fruits, right? Okay.
next day. But you can. I mean, definitely done it because I've been making this what we call like a chia pudding for a
Hmm.
while there, which is just the almond milk, the protein powder, and chia seeds. Let that mix all that up, and then adding the
Hmm.
fruit the night before, and it was still pretty good. But with the
Yeah.
oats, it's so easy. It was just a big revelation for
Yeah.
me how easy this is, and I think it's just delicious. Now, I would also throw in peanut butter would be nice.
Hmm.
That sounds like it would really take it up a notch. So
Yeah.
maybe try that.
Yeah. No, the
And
peanut
then
butter is really
I
good.
have flax seeds and I had hemp seeds, but I don't. But you you grind your flax seeds?
So the flaxseed I buy ground, I guess
Okay.
you say. But I have grounded it. Is a past tense? Is this a
I have
regular?
ground.
Ground. Okay. I would
Grind
ground.
ground, right?
So it's not grounded. I'm just making that completely
No,
up.
you can be grounded. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's a totally different
Yeah.
word. That's why it's confusing. So
Yeah.
I ground my flaxseeds previously. Now I just bought the ground already. Ground.
Pre-ground. No, but I
Yeah.
have a coffee grinder. I just throw them in there and
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Same.
going
Yeah.
to do with
That's how
them
I've done it.
because yeah, I really didn't. I don't know, something about the hemp seeds that didn't work out for me the way I was using them, and the same thing with the flax seeds. I just didn't. There was something that was just it didn't. I tried those out and it didn't work. But I think
Hmm.
if I grind, maybe it'll be a little bit different. But
Hmm.
have you ever heard of this guy, the Vegan Jim?
No.
Okay, quick plug to this guy. He's making basically exactly what you just described,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. He does this whole thing about how to get the nutrients that you need and everything else like that.
Hmm.
And his goal is to live to be 100. He's very similar, actually. We
Oh
should have
my
him on the
gosh.
show.
Yeah.
But he's got a quite. He's a little bit. He has a few more followers than we do.
A few? How many? Come on.
I don't know, 23,000 or something. I don't know.
Almost there.
Anyway, just these meal plans and stuff like that. And so I've been watching him a lot recently, just trying
Cool.
to figure out how to get all the nutrients in. But I have an app called Chronometer. I don't know if you use that,
No.
but it's a way for me to track what I'm getting and how
Okay.
much I'm getting of each. And that's where I found I had that epiphany last week that this the Raw Wednesday that I'm doing is just not going to work for
Hmm. Hmm.
it'll work for one day, but I'm just not getting enough that I need,
Right.
from carbs and protein. Just mostly from the fats from the seeds. But you get a lot of good omega 3s and omega 6s. But I'm not a nutritionist, Daniel. I put it into the app. I see how I'm doing, and I go, okay, this is good. It tells me what percentages
Hmm.
I'm at and what I could add to, and things like that. So
Nice, nice. No, I used to do that. I did it with an app called MyFitnessPal
mhm.
years ago. I tried it out most recently. I find it so tedious to have to enter everything. Is this like an easy thing where you can scan it and it'll like
It, no,
upload?
but what you do is what I've done in the past is make recipes and plug it in there,
Yeah,
right?
okay. Yeah, I've
But
done
it's
that
just
too.
like, yeah, as far as tracking every single day, I don't do. But if I'm going
Oh,
to
okay.
make a change to my diet, if I want to see, am I hitting my goals? I'll plug it
Great.
all in, right? But then I'll get off it. I won't.
Okay.
I will use it once, in a blue moon.
Gotcha.
But it was a good way for me personally when I was doing serious weight loss,
Mm,
to make sure I wasn't eating too much. Because if you want
mm,
to cut down on how much you eat, track everything you eat.
that's true.
I
Yeah.
guarantee
Yeah.
you're gonna say, I no, I don't need that because I don't want to put it in my tracker.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like yeah, when you do count it, if that's where you're at in your own journey, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Trying to lose a bit of weight and going on a caloric deficit, for instance, right?
yeah.
Tracking it will easily keep you honest about what you put in your mouth.
As long as you're honest about tracking it, if you're
Yeah,
dedicated, and everyone's different, they have their own different ways of doing things, but
right.
it can be helpful. But back
Mhm.
to your
Yes.
Ah,
So we
cold
we
soak.
talked about everything that went right, right? Like, even though the fuel thing was unexpected. What went wrong and what didn't work was my lunch the next day. So in chat, I had planned on soaking some pho noodles that I had in the cupboard. I thought, okay, these are very thin noodles, and I asked ChatGPT, can I do anything cold soaking with it? And it told me yes, I could cold soak them. And by the time, like if I did it in the morning, by the time, whatever lunchtime went around, they would be soft. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I'll try that. They weren't soft at all when it was lunchtime. I chewed on them a little bit. They were pretty crunchy, but I intended on doing that with a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of olive oil, and some peanut butter, almost like a peanut, like a nutty,
Hmm.
almost like a pad thai sort
Yeah,
of
Thai.
noodle, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
with pho noodles. But that didn't work out. So I think it would work if I cooked the noodles and then had them for like a dinner or something like that. But
Yeah, but
obviously I didn't have the
what
fuel.
if you did that in the morning and then you tried that for dinner at night? Do you think that would
I
make a
tried them the
difference?
next day. I was like, maybe they just need longer, and they were still crunchy. So it could be that type of noodle. Maybe Chat thought I had a different type of fun noodle, perhaps. They were the wide ones, but they were still pretty thin.
Hmm.
It looked so I thought for sure they would have softened up because I think a lot of it, like the it looked a lot similar to what are like spring roll wrappers, if you've ever used those. You heat them in a little warm water,
Hmm.
and then they get soft really quick, and then you roll them into spring rolls. And so I thought that's what it was going to be. So like if I had fuel, I would have warmed the water. If I had warmed the water and put it in there, they would have been soft easily, right? But I think because it was cold water, they just never got soft.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of maybe I haven't seen a lot of people, right? But my buddy, he's my buddy now, Carl Blanchett, aka Rabbit.
Right.
Done the PCT twice now. Just loves ramen. He'll cold soak the
Yeah,
ramen, and then he mixes that with instant mashed potatoes and calls it a ramen bomb. Yeah, and then
interesting.
yeah, and then he adds meat and beef jerky and different things to it, pumpkin seeds, different stuff. Get him in, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's always about that cold soaking those ramen noodles. So
Yeah. So I'll give it another try, another noodle, and I think this is the lesson, right? So I felt pretty good about the lentils because I knew I was going to do that over fire, and because we were able to do it over fire, it worked. Though we found out you could cold soak red lentils, as William was saying that he's done
yeah,
a lot longer. But
it worked
but
for me, but I don't know. Someone's gonna write in
did
that
it
you
still have
can't
a
do that.
bite to it? Were they still crunchy?
It was al dente, yeah.
Okay, so that's okay as long as they're not like
Yeah.
hard, like you're crunching on, like
No, I
like
mean they're
popcorn
definitely
seeds or
edible,
something.
but someone might say, no, you gotta sprout those or something, and I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Oh, we'll feel it. But so like taking it back outside of that, I think the lesson for me is like just try it at home first. Try it at home. Put it in my jar I already have. It's in my cupboard. Try it at home and see what it tastes like. Make sure it tastes good if you like the spices. Because I was kind of going off the spice recipe from chat. I think I can do better on my own spices, frankly, and
Mhm.
seasoning. So I think I'll kind of give that a try next time. Um, I felt it was a little bland for me, but it was still tasted good. So yeah, try it at home first and experiment because I think that was kind of the fun about it, and that's what I'm looking forward to the next for our next trip is trying something new and being able to try those before we go out.
All right. Well, sounds good, Daniel. Sounds like we're living, we're learning, and
Yeah.
we'll see where it takes us next. All right.
Yes.
So, hey, go ahead. If you like this stuff, if you have tried something like this before, leave it in the chat. Go ahead, leave a comment. Say, "Oh, I tried that," or if you know that cold soaking red lentils is a bad idea, let me know. I don't know. I feel fine. I ate them. It was great. You know. And yeah, if you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time.
Peace.